What if the secret to understanding AI's future in our jobs isn't in some futuristic lab in Silicon Valley, but in a management theory that's over 100 years old? Okay, let's get into this because we are at a really critical moment. History might just be about to repeat itself in a way that's going to define our careers for decades to come.
I know, it's a pretty intense question, right? But it's one we've got to ask. Are we about to swap the creativity and, the craft of knowledge work for some hyper-efficient, machine-led production line? The answer? Well, it really depends on the choices we all start making right now.
So, to really get a handle on where we're headed, we actually need to take a step back in time. We need to meet the ghost in this machine, a guy named Frederick Winslow Taylor. Back in the early 20th century, he kicked off a revolution that completely changed the way we work. Forever. Taylor's big idea was something he called scientific management. Now, the concept was pretty simple, but it was absolutely radical for its time. You take a complex job, something a skilled artisan would do, and you break it down into the smallest, simplest, most repetitive little pieces you can. Then you time every single piece and have less skilled workers just do those micro tasks over and over and over. It was basically the birth of the assembly line philosophy. In this slide, it just lays out the trade-off perfectly. On one side, you've got the artisan. They had autonomy, deep skill. They saw the whole project. On the other, the assembly line worker. Their whole world was fragmented tasks, total managerial control, and just repetitive action. Now, efficiency went through the roof, for sure, but it came at a massive cost. The worker's own agency and the craft itself, it all just got lost in the shuffle. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why are we digging up some 100-year-old theory? Well, here's why. We're standing on the edge of a very similar cliff today. We are in a new Taylor moment. Only this time, it's not about manual labor. It's about knowledge work. And the real danger is just letting this whole transformation happen by default. This right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the matter. AI coming into our work isn't like the weather. It's not something we just watch happen. It's a series of design choices. And if leaders, especially in HR, don't step up and actually architect this change, well, then the technology is just going to write the rules for us. So here it is, the big parallel. Just like Taylor chopped up craft work into little bits, AI can now do the exact same thing to complex knowledge work. Think about a lawyer, a graphic designer, a financial analyst. Their jobs can be broken down into tiny machine-managed pieces. The huge difference, the speed and the scale of this change are on a level we've just never seen before. And look, don't think for a second this is some far-off sci-fi future. The signals are already flashing right now. We're seeing companies hire fewer entry-level people, the very roles where you're supposed to learn the ropes. Skills that were super valuable just a couple years ago are suddenly going out of style. And those traditional career ladders that people climbed for decades, they're starting to look pretty broken. And if you want to talk about scale, just wrap your head around this number. 300 million. According to Goldman Sachs, that's how many full-time jobs around the world could be impacted by generative AI. This isn't some niche trend. It's a massive, global workforce transformation happening as we speak. So what's the big deal? What happens if we just do nothing? If we just react and let AI kind of seep into our workflows, chasing short-term efficiency? Well, the costs, both for our companies and for us as individuals, are incredibly high. All right, first up, let's talk about the cost to the actual business, to the company itself. Just letting things happen might seem easy at first, but it can seriously hollow out a company from the inside out. When you just automate stuff without a real plan, you risk something called knowledge atrophy. It's a fancy term for a simple problem. Your senior experts retire, and the junior people, they never learn the fundamentals because the AI is doing all the work for them. Your innovation dries up because you lose that deep, creative problem solving. And pretty soon, you're left with a disengaged team and a company that's too brittle to adapt to the next big change. But, the damage to the company is really only half of it. The impact on individual people, on us, that's where it gets really serious. For the individual worker, a badly planned AI rollout means you lose control, you lose your say over your own work. It creates this huge cloud of uncertainty around your career path, and it cranks up that fear that your skills are becoming obsolete faster than you can learn new ones. And ultimately, it can mess with your whole sense of purpose and identity at work. Okay, that's a lot of doom and gloom, I know. It sounds pretty bad. But this is the pivot. This is the moment we stop talking about the problem and start outlining the solution. The power to shape this future, it really lies with leaders who can make the shift from just reacting to things to proactively designing this new world of work.
And this is the choice, laid out plain and simple. It's a fork in the road. Either we intentionally design our work systems to put people at the center using AI as an amazing tool to help us, or we just wait around and inherit a system that was designed by default to serve the technology first. It's really that stark, and the time to choose is right now. Okay, so how do we actually do this? This isn't just a bunch of wishful thinking. There's a real, actionable playbook here, based on what companies who are getting this right are already doing. We're going to walk through 3 core strategies for doing AI integration with real intention. So here they are, the 3 big strategies. First, you've got to build a strategic skills infrastructure so you actually know what your people can do. Second, you have to set up clear, transparent rules, governance, for how AI gets used. And third, you have to redesign work on purpose, not by accident. Let's look at strategy 1 in action, because big companies are already on this. Take IBM. They built this AI-powered system to map the skills of their entire workforce, all 360,000 of them. So when they needed to beef up their AI and cloud teams, they could just redeploy thousands of their own people instead of going through slow, expensive outside hiring. That's what it means to treat skills like a strategic asset. Next up, strategy 2, governance. This is all about setting the rules of the road. Salesforce, for example, created an ethics framework that forces them to ask, how is this AI tool going to affect our employees' skills and their autonomy? It's not just about efficiency. Microsoft did something similar. They realized that junior and senior developers need totally different levels of AI support. That is smart, human-centered governance. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, redesigning the actual work. This is so important. The goal is not just to automate stuff away. It's to augment what people can do. The whole key is to design jobs that keep a professional's agency intact, that protect that creative, big-picture problem-solving that we humans are best at. This is how you keep work engaging and meaningful. So when you put it all together, we've seen the ghost from the past, we've seen the very real dangers we're facing right now, and we've walked through the playbook to get it right. It all boils down to this: a fundamental choice about what knowledge work is even going to be in the 21st century. Look, this isn't up for debate. Work is being redesigned as we speak. That's a fact. The only question left, the only question that really matters, is the one right here. Will it be redesigned by default, by the logic of an algorithm, or will it be redesigned by us, with intention, to build a future where both technology and humanity can thrive? The choice is ours.